I'll follow back. Yep, you'll get a free follow back if you follow Digital University right now. Hurry up, hurry up. Once in a lifetime opportunity. No, I'm just kidding.
Back now, and we're throwing this free toaster.
Yes. Wait, did you bring the toasters? Oh, crap.
I have this friend of a friend who was supposed to get it for me.
Alright, we got a little melody to play. Here we go. That's all you get. Really gotta sync that up with the right time. Thank you very much. Let's see. And once we get started with class, can you guys just kind of keep an eye on nearby chat for me in case I miss any questions or comments directed with what's going on in nearby chat, just so I don't miss anybody. Thank you. Hello everybody that just entered, and I seen somebody backed out the door. So they ended up in the wrong instance. Hopefully they'll figure out that we're in the event. I'm sorry I didn't write my name on the whiteboard. You're gonna have to just know who I am. Alex, what do you say? Hey, Bina, welcome to class. Just talking to your, I was talking to your partner in crime there on DM. Well, your other partner in crime, the Alex Samsar. It promises that you guys are working on per user volume controls. We won, folks!
You did it. You did it. I did see the JIRA get created today.
We win.
Yep.
See? We demand it loud enough.
I liked how they didn't know what a fat pack was.
Yeah. Type fat pack in Second Life and you'll be just flooded with them.
I was about to say, obviously never been in Second Life.
Yeah.
Right? That seems odd to me. It's like,
as much time there as we do here.
Wouldn't you want to research that?
Yeah, well, I mean, certain terms aren't geared directly towards the development of things.
Sure.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, so those that just came in, we do have an official Twitter for the Digital University now, and it's duniversity_org. That's our Twitter handle for the official Twitter. I'll give you a follow back if you follow today and any day. And then we got a lot of cool things coming pretty soon in the works. and fun and excitement will never end. I'm just going to give everybody just a couple more minutes. I mean, it's a pretty basic topic that we're covering today, and I want to kind of run into the other event scheduled after ours, so we can just hop from one instance to the other and have a never-ending fun time here in Sansar. Yeah, we'll go with that. But yeah, that's we got our first event post on Twitter now, posted for everybody to come here. So I need some retweets. Should I like my own post? Does that seem too strange?
Galileo does it,
no,
so
don't do
it's
that.
probably okay.
I just liked my own tweet, so it's all good. Should I retweet my own tweet too? Nah, that's a little good. That's getting a little carried away. Hey, it's a new account. You know, we need to get the numbers up somehow, right?
You have it?
All right. So yeah, so today we are talking all about events. How to set up an event in Sansar. We're going to go over the basics of the very simple interface of setting up the event, what goes in what fields, how you need to set up a world, and then we're going to go over a little bit more details of the ways that I edit my events, and then also sometimes people want to change the scene that your event is targeted to, so I'll cover some of that so that you don't accidentally delete your whole main instance or the event instance, or that way you're not going to mess yourself up and end up deleting all your work, and then you'll be really out of luck there. And then we'll go from there and touch a little bit on a couple other websites that I use that help me with different activities within my events, such as doing surveys and doing raffles. So with Bina here, you're going to be my go-to if there's a question I can't answer. Hope you don't mind.
If I can help you. I'm sure you've hosted more events than me at this point, for sure.
I've done a few events.
Just a few.
Hey Disney, welcome to class. We're just getting started.
Awesome.
Made it just in time. All right.
Sorry, I'm lagging.
That's okay. So it'll be quick, simple, and to the point, and then we'll conclude with a little field trip that we'll take, followed by the final conclusion, which will be at the following event hosted by Sansar. All right, so let's get started. So I'm sharing my screen on all of your computer screens in front of you. You can mouse look in, you can have 4Cam in, either to your screen, the projector, wherever, get an idea of what we're looking at here. So I'm logged in on 2 accounts. So I'm Digital University as well tonight. So, all right. So we're going to get started on the very, very, very basics of how to make an event here in Sansar and get it known publicly that you're hosting an event. So let's close the nearby chat there since we don't need that. So we're going to make an event. We're going to make the best event in Sansar ever, and we're going to call it the test event. Okay? So I'm going to show you guys the very basics. So to start your event, you're going to go to create, and first thing you want to do is make sure you have a world public. So in this case, I already made a world called temp event world. Now what you're going to want to make sure you do in order to create your event is have that world so that it is published in the codex. So we're going to uncheck that. We're going to need a description, and then we'll grab a screenshot. Just make it simple. We're going to confuse anybody not here that looks at the codex and sees strange events and worlds popping up. Sound good? I think it sounds good. Then we're going to save it. So now we got a world published. That's just a default template world. Like I said, we're going to link it to a different scene later on, and I'll show you how to do that. Now we're going to make the event. So you're going to go to create, which is your little magic wand there on the left, and we're going to go to host an event. So you're going to get this nice little window here, and we're going to select a world. So we're going to go in our list here of different worlds, and we're going to select temp event world. We're going to give it a name, and name it whatever, like what I try to do with my event name is try to target and identify exactly what that event is going to be. And in this case, we're going to do it test for DU class. And that way, people don't even have to click on it to read the description to see what it's about. You want to get it as specific as possible in your event name. And then you could give the description. So this is only a test. Now we're going to put in an image. Make sure you mind the image requirements. In this case, I have an image already made. So we'll hit continue. And then you can go through, find an image you want to use. In this case, I preloaded a test image for us. And then we got to figure out what day and time we want to use. Now, good practice right now, I try not to overlap a current event. So, take a look at the event listings prior to figuring out what day and time you want to host your event, and just try to work around other events. That way you can make sure that you get the most visitors to your event. You're not interfering with somebody else's event, and maybe you could even collaborate with somebody else that's hosting an event and start yours right after theirs. And you could be like, hey, I have an event starting after yours. Do you mind if maybe after your event is over, we can drop a little note for everybody and hop over to my event, and usually the community is pretty open about wanting to collaborate like that, so it's pretty cool. So then we'll just create a date. We'll just pick a random day here. We're going to say we're going to do it for Monday. Now, what time do we want it to start? So come over to your drop-down box, and we'll pick a random time. Let's say we're going to start it at 2 a.m. Are you guys going to be up at 2 a.m.? And then you want to figure out your duration. So I know there's been talks about things changing in the future of when your event ends, that maybe it can go a little longer and whatnot. But for right now, we're going to go off of what's happening right here and now. So generally, if I'm hosting an event and I think it's going to be about an hour long, or I know it's going to be an hour long, but there's a possibility that it might go a little bit longer, I'll try to maybe give in that extra 30 minutes. So if I know it's going to be an hour, yeah, we'll go an extra 30 minutes. This way I don't accidentally forget and the event ends up ending, and then you're stuck in an instance that nobody can find, and you end up going over your time, and you still want to have people be able to find you. So I usually give it like an extra 30 minutes for the just in case moments. I'd rather have too much time than too short of time during an event. And one of the good things too is during the event, while it's live, as long as it hasn't ended yet, if you do need to extend your time a little bit longer, you can totally do that as long as the event hasn't ended. If the event ends, as of right now, you can't go back in and extend it. So you want to make sure that if you see that your event is still going to overlap that time, jump in there real quick in the event edit and add an extra 30 minutes, hour, however long you think it's going to be. Now, another thing to keep in mind as well, and this is only if your event is going to extend past midnight your local time. You want to make sure that your event extension time that you change it to is done prior to your local computer hitting midnight. Because the problem with that is it will try to, it doesn't go by years, so it'll try to, it doesn't like recognize that you're just trying to extend it your local time, it'll think that you're extending in a year and a half hour instead of just a half hour. So always make sure, extend the event prior to it ending, and if your event extends past midnight, and then you're going to want to do an extension, you have to do it prior to your computer time saying midnight, or you have to go in and change your local computer time to 11 o'clock rather than midnight, and then make your change and then change your computer time back. Just a heads up. And that's as of right now. Things can change in the future. Sansar is always changing. So in this case, we got it all set up. I got create event, so I'm going to verify we got the right world. The event name is good, description is good. We're Monday, February 10th at 2 a.m. and it's going to go 2 hours. Now, also real quick, the start time is your local time. So there is no like set time zone for Sansar. It's your local time. So keep that in mind when you're setting your event, and we'll hit save and publish. There we go. The event is created successfully. So now we can pull it up in the events. And what day did I make that for? There it is. February 10th we made it for. So we could hit interested in that. It doesn't matter. I'm going to delete it anyway. So February 10th from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. I click on it and get more information. Now, as the event creator, you get a little option here that allows you to edit your event, edit your scene, duplicate the event, or delete the event. So when you hit edit event, that'll just bring you up your same window we just had. And that way we can make adjustments if we want to change the event name, change the description, maybe change your time or the day changed. You can do any of that. We can duplicate it, we can delete it. Now, a good thing that I try to do when I'm doing an event is, I probably should have done this in the beginning first, is say I want to edit one of my events, right? Or I want to attach a different world to it. So say we have a different world. I'm just going to create a different world here for all safety's sake. I'm just going to create a different world here. Okay. All right, so whenever we want to work on the event, best practice is to go into a copy of your scenes and always work on the event through your event copy or through your scene copy, I should say. And so you could either, it depends on how you want to do it, okay? So there's a couple different ways you can do it. You could either do it in a world that currently exists. You can edit the event listing as it is. So I can go into my test for DU class. I can edit that scene through my world's editor. And I'll just go ahead and do it. What the heck? So anything that I do inside of this scene will be edited within just the event itself. So this is my event scene, and say, I just needed a placeholder so that I can gather everything before the event starts and whatnot. And I have that other world here that we'll just pretend that I've been working on test 2 for a couple of weeks now, and now I'm ready to make that be my event list, or my event scene, rather than this Sandy scene here. This was just a placeholder so I could get the event listed, but I'm not necessarily wanting to use that. I want to use a different scene, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to change the scenes, okay? So we're going to go here. Now, well, I'll go step by step. I'll slow down for you. Okay, so say this is the scene that I want to use, but I don't want anybody to see my scene until the event happens, right? So I've been working in the scene. So you go into who can visit in the options. So I just clicked on the image, right, where it says no codex image, or you can have the new events icon, or one of your normal pictures that you might have. You click on one of those, or you can go to edit, and then you get your publishing options. Who can visit? I'm going to change that to only me and the following, and we're going to have a guest list. So that way it's locked down, it's secured, so only me and whoever else I want to allow in there can get in there, right? So now, in order to make it so that I can attach this to my event, I'm going to want to go here. I'll show you what happens. So if if we want to go from here, from this scene here to this scene here, we're going to link to another scene. And it's going to tell you you cannot link. Yeah, okay. So I'm currently editing the scene. I screwed that bit up. I thought I was going to do that. We're just going to jump. Sorry, folks. Yeah, you can't be editing the scene when you try to change scenes. I was like, I'm missing a step here. What am I missing? That was my step I'm missing. All right, look at that ugly guy standing at the door. All right, go back to build world. So we're going to link, we want to link to that scene. So say we go here and we want to link to another scene and we want to go to test 2 scene. Now, you're going to notice, if I can find where it is, test 2 scene, it says it's in use, right? We can replace. Now, our test for DU is test 2 scene. So now when I go to it, it's a whole different scene. That's the scene that I've been working on for the last 2 months. Look at that. A whole default world. I'm just joking. I didn't really work on this for 2 months. But yeah, so that's the easiest way that I found to be able to just change the scene out, and that way you're not editing the main event instance and whatnot. You know, you're not editing your primary scenes.
Zero?
Yes.
Can I make a comment about linking? And
Yes.
so there's 2 options. Linking is certainly one of them. What linking does is it takes an actual copy of your instance. So it's the same ID in all of our backend systems as your original scene. So if you have likes or favorites, those are going to go along with it. I know that I personally have accidentally deleted scenes because I've linked them to an event and then later deleted the event, and then I lost everything. So it's just a word of caution. Torley, one of our event hosts internally, told me the safest way is to deploy a copy. But when you deploy a copy, your favorites and likes don't get transferred. So I don't know if you're familiar with that or if that makes sense in your workflow.
Okay.
Or, yeah.
Yep. So what Bina's touching on here is, let's see if I got this right. So we're gonna go. Let's get out of edit here just to make it easier for all of us. Okay. So this is what's cool about doing these kind of things live versus just a tutorial, right? All right. So we're gonna go build worlds. Now let's pretend that this. We're going to do it test 3, and we're just going to pick blah, 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 create. All right, say this is our public world, right? Yeah. This is a great image for the codex. Great image for the codex. All right, say this is our world. So what you're saying is, say this is the world that we want to work on for the event, right?
Right.
So then I go here, and I could go make a copy.
No, actually, there's deploy. No, there's an option that's called deploy.
The deploy scene?
So
Yep.
deploy will make a copy, but it'll also preserve your original.
Okay.
And that's
So to
kind of like a
preserve the original,
safeguard so you don't
here, we go
accidentally
deploy
delete
scene,
something. Yeah.
and then move the scene copy to this world. And then, so we're going to do we want to move it then to our event that we want to use it on?
Yeah, so what it'll make a copy.
So then we'll go, that's scene 3. So we want to do temp event world.
So like the great thing
There it
about
is.
that is you
Yep.
don't lose the original.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
Thank
we can
you.
go visit it. Look at that. Learn something new every day.
Yeah, I mean, the downside is you make a bunch of copies.
Look at that. We just came to my new instance of this event, which then we decided, I guess, to go back to the sand theme, the sand dunes. Excellent. All right. So yeah, does anybody have any questions, comments for me or Bina so far? Let's see.
I'm trying to think of
Got
something
any?
witty and funny to say, but nothing's coming to mind.
Oh, come on, you gotta give me something.
Teacher, I have a question. Teacher.
Yes, student.
Teacher.
You have to go, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Yes, me.
Is there any limit to amount of events I can host?
Is there a limit to the events you can host? Well, you are limited to 20 worlds that are publicly listed in the codex. You could do as many scenes as you want, but you're limited to 20 worlds to attach a scene to. So, in theory, I've never tried it, but I'm assuming the limit would be the maximum worlds that you're allowed to have.
Okay, so
Meaning 20. Maybe Bina can confirm that theory for me or not. I don't know.
Yeah, you're
but
correct. Yeah, you can have a
Yes.
maximum number of worlds, but I think you can make as many events as you want. You just can't have them at the same time, overlapping, or same world, stuff like that.
Yeah, because each event has to be attached to a scene, and when you create the event, it makes a world listing in here. So when you go build worlds, see it took up I got an event slot world there. There's an event attached to a world there, an event attached to a world there, and I think that's it. And then we got some scenes without worlds, and then some worlds without scenes. So I'm gonna go with 20, but then subtracting from that amount with whatever amount of worlds you have public. But once an event ends, you can quickly attach another event to another scene and whatnot.
I have a question.
Yes.
If you subscribe because you want to make more worlds, you can only do that by going through the website. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, at this point, just through the website.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Another thing that I've done, not saying that it's the right way to do it, to hold events, I have my alt. So I have 0 events. And then that way I have an easy way to keep track of my events. And then, such as the community campfires, I can easily take that event listing and put in just a teleport script that'll teleport people to the main instances. But you have to keep in mind when you do that, you're not going to have your inventory or your worlds attached to that account. So that can cause other issues. But, there's workarounds. There's always workarounds, right?
Always.
Like I said, I do the teleport script for the campfires, so that way when people go into that world, they fall in this wormhole and get teleported into the host's primary world.
Is that the best way to go? The multiple instance thing to me is one of the most confusing things,
Right. Well, yes, it can be confusing when you do your event that way. Sometimes people will be like, hey, I teleported to the event and I got kicked out. Well, you did and you didn't, because the event is in a different instance than where the event is actually pointing you to. And yeah, it gets a little confusing, especially people when they've never actually seen the how the editor works and all that. When you host an event and then you teleport people out of it, your event in the codex is not going to show the population number up there. So say I had a teleporter in the event we're currently in. It'll jump you into the world, the primary world down here, but it's not going to pop up in the with the population count in your event. So people may totally miss it. They may say, oh, nobody's there, because it might look like one of the other events where nobody's at. Or sometimes if they don't hit events and they're sitting on Explorer, if there's other events going on, then, and you have nobody in your event, it's going to be on page 2. And you're less likely to get noticed that way as well. So, you know, there's things to think about when you're doing that sort of stuff. You know, the community campfire, everybody is pretty much aware that we do it every Friday night, so I'm not too worried about people not seeing it maybe on the front page of the Codex, or people not even going through the event just to hop over to one of us. So, but when it comes to a single one-time event, especially short-noticed events, I generally try to keep it in the main event instance. That way people can see it and whatnot. Now, another thing, I don't know that it's too functioning right now. Some may beg to differ with me, but when I host events in the event, it's supposed to count towards your world traffic flow count. So if I go and create an event and I attach it to one of my main events, right? So I go Digital University main entrance. So that's our main entrance, right? And it's basically what it would do if I went through this is it's going to make a copy. It's going to replicate the primary world that I have as it is in the moment of me creating the event listing, right? So what it's doing is taking the world details, and I guess it's like supposed to be linking it with the event, so that way as my traffic grows in the world and people stay in the world, then that's supposed to count towards my popularity count in the Codex. So that'll help give your world a little bit of a boost. Now, I haven't really seen that working lately. Yeah, I haven't really seen that working lately, but that's what I heard that is supposed to be happening.
So a question about the event instances thing.
Yes.
Okay, so I understand kind of the impetus behind that is to be able to have events that scale. But if you're hosting something like say you're doing an open house kind of event for a new world,
Right.
is there a way to limit the number of instances that it can spin up? Because, I mean, the thing is, like, I'm assuming that, like, you know, if I go into the main instance and, you know, however many people show up and then it needs to spin up another one to handle the scale, then there's going to be a second instance where I'm not in there to kind of, like, greet people and talk to people and say, give them a tour of the world, right? So, like, how...
Right. So, like right now, like when we had our open house, for example, here, what was it, 2 weeks ago on Monday, I set up the event so that our primary instance, the one that everybody would normally go to, was just unpublished on the Codex. So the way I did that, honestly, is I'll just show you exactly how I did that one. So what I did is I just went in, made it public really quick so that I could grab the event, link it to it so I didn't have to do anything special. And then, so I unhid it from the Codex, created the event, then I went back and I checked hide this world from the Codex, right? So that way nobody was able to get to the primary world until after my event ended. So that way I didn't have anybody accidentally going to the main scene, the main world. I wanted them only coming into the event only, and for our open house. Now that way everybody came in, as long as we didn't go over 50 users. 50 is the key number right now. As long as we didn't go over 50 users, not a problem. But yeah, if you go over 50 avatars in one scene, it's going to pop up another instance automatically, and they will be by themselves. But I know there's some changes with the instance picker coming up that Bina touched on earlier today at the product meetup. I don't know too much about it yet. I just know what you guys know about what she showed. but Bina's here right now. I don't.
Yeah.
Bina, can you enlighten us any? Can there be like a broadcaster for the instances, or is that just not a thing yet for users?
Yeah, so internally we have the ability to have a broadcast instance, and as many instances that spin up can still see, like in this case, we would consider the instance that Zero is teaching in as the broadcast instance, and if it overflows past the number of people that can get in, it would spin up a new instance. They could still see Zero, but they couldn't see the rest of us. He would have a specific role called a broadcaster role. And that's kind of how, like, when we do DJ events, the DJs are broadcaster roles, so everyone can see them, like on Monster Cat stage, for instance. This is currently an internal-only feature. We do know that it's something we, in the future, would like to open up. The questions we have around it are, one, the need for it at the moment. We haven't seen any events. I guess you had one recently that overflowed, and I would like to point that out to product that you did. But I also think that there, in terms of spinning up new instances, being able to create new instances, have broadcast instances, I think those might be part of a subscription plan when we do. No definite plans at the moment, but that's kind of where people are thinking in product about that. So when the need arises, when enough people tell us they need it, that's when we'll build it. If that helps.
Right. Does that answer the question? So right now, yeah, if the second instance pops up, they're going to be on their own, it sounds like.
Yeah, they'll be in an empty instance by themselves at the moment.
Yep.
But once we see events getting close to that 50 number on a regular basis, then we'll definitely be like, we need to fix this and provide a way for you to have a broadcast.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some kind of way to do, like, maybe some kind of detection. I mean, best you can do is just try to keep an eye on your count in the codex. Pop that up once in a while when it looks like you got a lot of people, and keep an eye on that number. See if that number starts going up to 50. Once you hit over 50, then just be aware and, I don't know, maybe pop in an alt or something and see if you get yourself into that instance and be like, hey guys, keep trying to get in the main. For right now, anybody else got any other ideas maybe of how to get around that? It's pretty much how it is right now. First come, first serve. Once you hit 50, then everybody's on their own. Ooh, yeah, that was mentioned to the lab a few times by me at the product meetups.
It's the same thing as...
Yep.
Yeah, it's the same thing as the broadcast. Once we see that events are generating enough interest for us to develop, to spend the money to develop and make that available, once we see that need, we will definitely, all that stuff has been thought about and planned. It's just not prioritized at the moment.
Yep. Yeah, there is a workaround that I've came up with the idea of. It's not perfect, but it will work. I haven't tested it yet, but I don't see any reason it wouldn't work. So you create a ticket, like in mesh format or something. You can make either a ticket or you can make an item, make some kind of item. You sell it in the store. Now, when you make your event, then, and Bina, correct me if I'm wrong, we can edit the lists, right?
Yep.
For who can visit on an event. Can we do that for an event? So we can do a guest list, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then in your guest list, you can add a whitelist and go through your list of people who've purchased that item, which would be your ticket. And then it's a manual process. And you gotta be careful because you might miss somebody. But you can add them in the whitelist. And then that way, based on their ticket purchases in your store, they can be added to the access list. And then that way, you're making some kind of money that you can cash out for said event.
And I'll say this is literally how we did it when we did our first events. Like, exactly what Zero just said.
I thought of that. It was new.
Man. You guys already beat me to it, apparently. Well, so, in other words, that means that it will work that way. Okay, great. Like I said, I haven't tested it. I just thought of it when I was playing around with the original concepts of Digital University. Not saying that we're going to be charging you guys for any classes right now. So yeah. Does anybody else have any questions or comments on what we've covered so far? No, nothing? Okay, good. All right, so we covered that. We covered that topic. Let's see, what else do we got to go over? Okay. So next, let's go over, just touch a little bit on some different marketing things that you can do for your events to bring attention to your event. Okay, just simple ideas of what I do. You guys can also throw in some of your ideas as well. Twitter is a good friend of mine. Twitter reaches out to a lot of people. So we do have an official Twitter for the Digital University right now. I'll throw that out there again. Make sure you follow. But yeah, create a Twitter account if you don't have one. There's tons of people here in Sansar that have Twitter, that utilize Twitter, so you can tag them and whatnot. And anytime you got an event going on, what I like to do is I'll go to, once I get the event listed, right? I'll go here to events and I'll find, this is what I've been doing lately. So I find the event and I'll pop it up here in the codex, right? So then I'll go grab my snippet tool, which is built into Windows, right? So I'll just grab a snippet and I'll just hit that button. So I just snipped this little section here, right? I don't even have to do anything with it except go over here to Twitter, say tweet, and I'll say, I'm not going to really post this because I don't want to cause mass confusion on Twitter, but I'll just go, hey guys, check out this event happening now on, and then we can tag at Sansar Official. So now Sansar Official has been tagged on it, and then we'll paste the picture. So now that picture has the image of your event, and then you have your information on what that event is. Right there, without, you don't have to save it and all that. You just grab the snippet, paste it into Twitter, and there it is. Now when you tweet it, Sansar Official will get that, or anybody else you tag in there. And a lot of times they'll promote it for you. You get a nice little retweet and get some likes on there and get some attention. That's one way of doing it. Another way is go into the Discord and post your stuff in there. Let me pull that over to the right screen. Yes. Hey, there you go. Free promotion right there. DNA Elite. DM them. Yeah, so Discord's another cool tool you can use for marketing. So when I go to start my events, you can post in there like I did right here. Post the link, it'll automatically link them to the world. Another thing you can do if you have like a really big social event, I've been encouraged to utilize it. You can tag socialite people. If you have an exploring event, you can do explorers. Tag people that have an interest in what it is that you're doing an event on. And always respond to people. So we'll tell her it'll be at the university. I'll get back to her a little bit more later too. Yeah, and then any other channels that you may have that might be related, definitely you can post them in there. Digital University, we have our own official Discord, which I'll post here as well. We'll give you guys a quick little invite here. So if anybody wants to get in there, there it is in nearby chat. And then any other social media that you have, honestly, do the same thing for Instagram. Do the same thing for Facebook. Just, it shows people that are in and not in Sansar, hey, there's stuff going on over here. get on board, get in game, get in world, get in Sansar, and come join us and hang out at this cool event. So, does anybody else have any ideas of cool marketing ideas to get your events noticed? Merchandise. Oh yeah, definitely. You can brand your events, brand your logos and whatnot in the merchandise. Anybody else ideas of how to market your events or your brand in Sansar? That's what I'm after. DNA picked up on it. What does that mean? What does that mean, DNA? Yeah. So in theory, right? You're master of invite. You're inviting 3 people. This is, especially if it's somebody else's event too, help them out, invite people. So if you invite 3 people into another event, then those 3 people could invite 3 more people and so on. So you got tons of people coming into Sansar. Anybody else got any ideas before we move on? Anybody? Feel free. We got time. All right, so we'll move on then. We got a notification here. We'll give a follow back. Thank you, Majeka, however you want to say that name. Your name always confuses me. No offense. Yeah. Okay. All right. It's just okay. All right. So one thing I like to utilize is some tools outside of Sansar for helping my events in Sansar. So one thing that I like to do is I'll give out like a survey link in some of my events. So to do that, I'll use surveymonkey.com. Shout out SurveyMonkey. I've been using them for a very long time. And this is a good way to put together a little questionnaire of to get feedback of what people think about your events. So we'll just, for example, I'll click on one of mine that I have here. And so what you'll do is you would create an account and you'd create your survey, right? And then you just fill in the blanks and ask people, like for example, this one, which worlds have you explored? They can put in their check boxes, little check boxes of what events or what quests and stuff they've done, if they encountered other people, did they have fun? And then you give feedback sections and ask for them to give in their own words what they think of things during your event. You can also do it for your worlds. It doesn't have to just pertain to events. But I do like to use it for some events, like we use it for campfires and whatnot, just to see what people think so that I know I can then take that information and learn from it myself. Do people really like what we just did? Should we do more of these? What do they want to see changed? What do I want to make sure that I include next time for this event? So that way I can build off of that and make sure that the next events are always better and better and better than the previous event. Great way to get feedback, whether it's negative or positive. Always open yourself to all feedback. Don't ever take it to heart if anything's negative. Learn off of it, and make your events just more entertaining based off of what feedback you get. Everybody always, you might always want good feedback, but bad feedback is very useful as well. Negative feedback, I should say. Another thing that I like to use for doing like raffles. This is what I used for Halloween time. This is what we just used recently at the X Games event, at the viewing party. So, for example, this is just the names I had in one of the X Games viewing parties that were still in here. So I use this website called miniwebtool.com/random name picker. There's other websites you can use that are similar, same thing as for SurveyMonkey. But this is the one that I use. And so super easy. You can have people purchase something to enter a raffle. You can have people dress up as do like a costume contest, and everybody stands on stage, and then that way then you can enter in the names of whoever entered, however way you want to make them enter. So like for the Halloween party, for example, when I hosted that event, I had the stage set up with invisible barrier. And I utilized one of Mad Eye's barrier scripts. And that allowed me to tell whoever wanted to enter in the contest, they paid like 50 Sansar dollars, and that was the money to enter the pot, right? It was like we split the pot between the winners. And so they paid the 50 Sansar dollars, and then I gave them access to the stage. So then once everybody was standing on the stage, we're able to do different things. So when you do the raffle, you can enter in everybody's name that's standing up there, and enter everybody's name in here, and then you can hit simply randomize the names, and boom, there it is. It's going to tell you a winner. Well, I don't think Louv is here. Louv didn't win anything anyway, so it's okay. Shout out Louv Anime. But you do the same thing with SurveyMonkey as well if you wanted to do a contest versus a raffle. So this way you can utilize tools that exist outside of Sansar to help make your events more entertaining in Sansar. This was more of like a random raffle type deal. Now if you wanted to do a survey, same concept, just with SurveyMonkey. So when you go to create your survey, you'll just put one question. Who do you think is the best looking avatar or something? And then you can just type in their names. So you can go like Bina, Digital University, DNA, MedHue, and so on, so on, so on. So you just then, give a checkbox for each name, and then you limit it to one selection per user. And then everybody gets a chance to vote. And then you go look at your results, and you can see who everybody decided is the winner without needing to put in, big crazy scripts for a one-time event that you might not want to invest a lot of money in to get somebody to come in and script that for you. That's just a couple of ideas of what I use for helping me out with some events. Do you guys have anything else that you guys can think that could be helpful as well that we can share? Share some knowledge?
This might be
Oh.
You go.
Tag team. Suggestion box. Did I just type? I clicked on the wrong one, didn't I? Suggestion ox. So yeah, let's see.
I like suggestion ox. That was a good idea.
Yeah, right. I know I've seen it in here somewhere. There it is, suggestion box. Is this it? Let's see. It's a white screen. I like that website. It's a good website. Doesn't want to come up. Is that the right website? Suggestionbox.com? I do not.
I see like the lookup is crossed out. Maybe if you add HTTP thing in front of it with an S. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not working.
No.
Uh-oh. Are you sure about that? There you go. That's why. It's not secured. So... But yeah, so, I mean, it's freesuggestionbox.com. That's another one. SurveyMonkey seems to be secure, but, But yeah, I mean, there's other tools out there too on the web that you can utilize. And basically all I'm getting at is utilize the web, to help you do other things and manage your events. You don't have to just manage everything and do every single bit of what you're doing here in Sansar, even though you're encouraged to always do it here in Sansar. There's other tools that you can utilize to make a good time for everybody even more good, more good? Yeah, we'll go with that. I like that. Even better here in Sansar. So, yes. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Really good one. So, another one that I use, yes, thank you, DNA. Low calendar instructor.com. So that's a freebie calendar that you can utilize if you want to do multiple events or just whatever you want to make use of it. So I use this one here, for example, for my campfires. This is the campfire one. So this way I can easily keep track of who's doing the campfire on what days, even when the campfires aren't necessarily listed on the codex. So this way I can manage who's hosting on what days, and then once we get 4 or 5 of them queued up in there, then I'll go on and put a whole bunch of them into the codex at one time. Makes it a little bit easier for me to do that, but you can utilize it for whatever you find useful. We have it here at the university as well on the in the lobby. Click on the calendar on the wall, and it'll show you upcoming classes. Yes, DNA. That was asked earlier. As of right now, I believe the answer would be 20 at the most, because of it takes up a world slot, so you're limited to 20 worlds. And because when you go build worlds, it shows up as a world slot. So I've never tried it. I mean, you can test it out and see if you get capped at 20 when you try it, subtracting however many worlds you have published, like this counts, this. So they have the little globe symbol. That means it's on the codex. So it's published world. Even if it's not published, it's attached to a world. So I'm going to go with 20, and I think that's a safe answer. But
it doesn't seem like you could reasonably manage more than 20 events at once. Anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. Yeah, that'd be a lot of events to try to handle. I don't think I can handle that, no. I think I'm good with where I'm at. I'm comfortable with my limit of events that I'm at now.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yes. So yeah, localendar.com. It's free for everybody. Just create a free account, make yourself a free calendar, and that way it's public. It gives you a link on the bottom. So this one here is localendar.com/public/yourcheese, and that's what you can share with everybody, so everybody can see without having the ability to post on your calendar. That way it keeps others from posting on it, but yet it makes it so that the calendar is public, so others can see when you have events going on and whatnot.
Is there a benefit to this over like a Google Calendar? Just curious, your thoughts on that.
I never really play around too much with Google. I try to stay away from Google.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, I don't really play around with it too much. Can you make your Google Calendar? Whoop. Feedback. Bonnie's got feedback.
Sorry.
Yeah. Can you mute your mic, please?
Yep.
Okay. So, sorry. My question was, with Google Calendars, can you make those public so people can see them without? Okay. Yeah. But like I said, I don't really do the Google accounts anymore. I stopped doing that a long time ago. But yeah. Okay. But yeah, any calendars. Yeah. Yeah, totally. You can do collaborations and whatnot with the Google Calendar too. So yeah, I mean, you could add other people and stuff to your low calendars as well. So you can share like admins or mods or something. Okay. Does anybody else have anything else involving other tools you can utilize to make your events more fun and entertaining and useful? Yeah, so Jackbox TV, it's just streamed on Twitch. Like what you do is you purchase the game, Jackbox through Steam, and then they're streaming that from their Steam account to Twitch, and then putting it up on the screen here in World. And then it just has you go to a website on your cell phone or whatever, and you could interact with what you're seeing on the screen and play along. So it's just watching a live Twitch feed, and it's interactive through a web browser on any device. Does that answer that? Anybody else have any other questions, comments, concerns on what we've talked about so far before I move into moderation? Somebody posted something. Okay. Yep. Yep. Totally. So can you do the same thing with OBS and Twitch Direct? Yep. So it makes it a little more engaging and fun when you stream Jackbox here into Sansar, and then everybody's like chatting in World and stuff, and you can react to what you're seeing on the screen with everybody, and it's kind of cool to sit around, hang out in a cool virtual room with all your friends, like face to face, without leaving the comfort of your computer office or living room. Yeah, so anything else? All right. So we're going to jump into some moderation. So to moderate your events, right? So say somebody here, is just being a little disruptive and whatnot, and you're just like, okay, you got to cool it off, enough of that. And you just got to have them, remove them. So what we'll do is we'll go into the event. So you go into My World. So this is the way I do it. So you go create, go to build worlds. Galileo, bam. So we'll go to My World, right? And then you got to find which one you're doing. So in this case, we're doing Event Hosting 101. So you can either click on the codex image, or that's the best way to do it. Yeah, just click at codec image. That's the way I do it. And then go here to banned users are never allowed to visit, and then you got edit list. So that's where you can moderate your event. Yes, you're not seeing it on the screen. Thank you for pointing that out. For some reason, it's not. What is it doing to me? Is it frozen? Yep, it's frozen. Hold on, guys. Let me disconnect and reconnect it. Stop streaming. Maybe I let it sit in the same spot too long. Hold on one sec, guys. I'm just changing it to stream the current screen share. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. All right, let's try this again. So to moderate, we're going to go create, build worlds, and then you're going to find Event Hosting 101, which is what we're in right now. So you're going to look for your current event instance. Click on the codex image right there. And then you're going to find banned users are never allowed. Hit edit list. And then that's where you can add a user. So you'll find their name in the search. Sorry, whoever Troll Cruise is, but you're being banned. So you'll select their name from the list, add selected, hit done, hit save. And here's where it's been changed. You'll hit save again. Now ignore this because this event was posted a while back. You'll not get this notification anymore thanks to Vina and her fun team over there. They and Galileo hiding in the back. Their whole over at Sansar, they've fixed it, so that's not going to be an issue anymore. And you'll notice when you go back to edit that it's now in the ban list, right? So we save it. You'll hit save again. In my case, I hit cancel because this event was made prior to the bug being fixed. And they will be banned from your event. However, they might still be in the event, right? So another way to get them out of the event, now that they're on the ban list, they're not going to be able to return. But now you want to kick them out of your event, right? So as long as you're the event host, you would go %% kick, lowercase letters, space, and then you would type the name, lowercase letters, dash, and then the numbers. And then when you hit enter, boom, they'll be ejected from that event. And because they're already on the ban list, they won't be able to return. Now you can do the kick prior to putting them on a ban list. I did not ban that person. I did not kick that person, whoever just left. But anyway, yeah, so whoever... So say you want to kick them, you don't want to ban them, you can do that too without putting them on the ban list first. The reason why I jump to the ban list first is because they're just going to come back in and you're going to have to go through the whole kick thing all over again. Granted, they may be a nuisance, but you could type in their name and whatnot in the in the ban list thing. Put their name in the ban list, then go in and kick them. Even though they're an instance, they'll be gone in a minute anyway, and that way they won't be able to come back. Then there's also tools out there on the Sandstar store as well. For example, let me give a shout out to Mad Eye. He made a ban script. So you drop the Mad Ban or something he called it, Mad Eye's ban script. You drop that into your scene somewhere in the editor when you're editing your event. And then as long as it's in your scene, when you're hosting your event, you can make it a little bit easier for yourself and just type ban space, and then you can do an avatar name. So I'll do ban DNA. And I am not an admin. Why am I not an admin on my own script? You guys see that? I'm not an admin on my own script. You won't have this issue.
No, it's saying you can't ban an admin.
Oh, I cannot ban an admin. That's what it's saying.
Yeah.
So we're going to do /ban Timey for speaking in class. So with Mad Eye script, it's pretty cool because you don't have to actually type the whole name with the numbers, and it's going to ask you a confirmation. So do you want to ban? In this case, no. But you would hit yes. Now with Mad Eye script, it's going to allow them to come back because it's only a script. It's not actually utilizing your moderation controls. So they'll be able to come back, but it's on an auto ban thing. So every 3 seconds, it automatically just kicks them. Every 3 seconds, it's kicking them out as soon as they come in. So that gives them enough time to get here and the packets to be able to be sent through to their client to say, teleport this user out of here and dump them in a toilet or somewhere. Padded room or something. We have a padded room here, yes. Galileo should go take a walk in the hallways there. I think Galileo's office is in a padded cell somewhere in this university. Yeah, if you find his office, cam through the doorway, F4 cam in it. It looks like a padded room. It's hilarious.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. But yeah, so so you can utilize that, and that could also help you out as well. If you, for example, say you have a troublemaker and you need to do some quick moderation, you could also, if you have that script at your disposal, type in their name first in the ban, /ban, and then ban them. And that way it'll kick them. Yeah, they'll be able to come back, but let them play around with coming back and leaving a few times while you're adding them to the ban list, and that way they're not quite as much of a nuisance, and you're giving them something to entertain themselves with for a few minutes while you add them to the ban list. So that's just a little touch on moderation. Anybody else have any ideas for moderation help to assist others? Yeah, go for it. Yep. Oh, I know the story. Is Swedish here? No. Yep, very good point. Yeah, I always try to... Oh, Bina, you got something?
Oh, excellent point. I think there's another famous troll whom I won't mention their name, who I think was caught on a stream saying, I'm really starting to like this place, but you know what? He's banned. So he can't hang out here now.
Yep. But it's I always try to give people, give them a chance. Sometimes I'll play along with them if it's not, too negative. I try to give everybody a chance, even if they come in and I'm like, yeah, they're an obvious troublemaker or whatnot. I try to give them a chance. I'll let them be and see if they'll cool down after a few seconds or a few minutes. And sometimes they do. I've been surprised by a few of them where I give them that chance and I'm like, say a few things with them, be like, oh yeah, that's funny, and just kind of play along for a few seconds and sometimes that's all it takes, and then they're just like, oh yeah, okay, you're cool, I'll let it be, and then they have a good time, and a few people have surprised me. Doesn't happen all the time, but a few times it has happened, and it's pretty cool when you see somebody that people know is a troublemaker troll, and then they just chill out and have a good time with whatever you're doing. So I always try to give people a chance. Of course, sometimes there are certain times when you can't, based on what they're saying or doing, and you have to say, pull the plug on them, but Galileo. You know, and there's sometimes you end up just having to ban that pregnant person. Oh, whoa, what did I do? Yeah, Bina got that one. Yes. I mean, it depends on what they're doing, how they're doing it. Sometimes they just might be acting inappropriate, and you can tell them, "Hey guys, cool it, knock it off, or I'm going to have to take action." Other times, if they're just shouting random things or making stupid noises, sometimes I'll give them like, "Hey, knock it off." They say something back, then I can kick them. I'll just give them a kick. That way they can come back. But it's a kick to say, hey, I'm serious, knock it off, or more action will be taken. Then if they do it again, then this is for general purposes. There are certain instances you don't. But then usually third offense within the same event, yeah, you're out. Got to call it quits. Maybe you'll cool down a little bit later on another day. Of course, there are some instances you just have to take action right away. So it is kind of a case by case, based on who it is, what they're saying, the actions that they're doing, and the behavior. Generally, when I host an event, I don't personally mute or block people because I'm the host, so I need to be able to moderate. If I can't see or hear that person, I don't know what they're saying or doing. So I'm not going to just mute or block somebody here in my event. If it's to the point where I want to block them, I'm just going to remove them.
What do you do if someone's got you blocked, though, and you can't see what they're doing?
I do actually have a disclaimer on my Zero Worlds Discord, and so the rule I go by is the same rule I had in Second Life for many years. So if you have, for example, if you have me blocked and I can't see or moderate you, then I can't have you in my event or my world because I just can't moderate you. I can't control that. So yeah, I generally don't like to have people just in there if I'm not able to moderate them. Now, sometimes it happens by accident. You use your best judgment on that too. Sometimes people might accidentally have hit mute or might accidentally hit block. You could go through other people too and be like, hey, see if so-and-so accidentally hit mute or block on me when that troll was here or something. So again, case by case, but typically, especially if I don't know the person at all, yeah, that's my best practice. And sometimes too, it just reduces drama if there is some reason that they're blocked on either side. They don't, reduces drama for that event too. But I try to keep it professional as I can with that and give everybody a chance. But certain things are just out of your control, and you don't want to ruin other people's experience because you can't see somebody, right? Anybody else got any ideas about that? Moderation? So, yeah, that's just some of my stuff on how I do events. Does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns on any of the above? Anything.
I have a couple.
You have a couple?
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
One, I guess, maybe is around moderation, but not just moderation. And it's something I've seen you do, and I know we do at the lab as well, is assembling like an events team. Mm-hmm. So it's not you by yourself.
Yes.
I don't know.
That is definitely useful. Such as here at the university, we have like when we have the instructors come in and stuff, DNA, Nikki, all of our instructors have access to the band scripts to help out with moderation. Generally, one of us will always be logged into the university account, so we can access even further for dealing with not even moderation, but such as if the other day during one of the instructions we had a megaphone issue, and I was already logged in, so I was able to just force megaphone that person, even though our script was acting up. So yeah, definitely if you have a small team of people to help you with a big event, that's definitely useful. Very good idea.
Second,
Do you have another one?
Yeah, it might even be a 202 level topic. Because I am curious right now how you're doing. I've attempted this myself at scripting office hours, and it's very cumbersome. Live demoing in World, and the lag, and how you don't seem to be having too much lag, or you're just really good.
Well, I mean, that's another tool that I didn't really touch on that I probably should have. Right, DNA? Thank you for bringing that up. So what I'm using right now is called Crankwheel. So you could get a free Crankwheel account. And DNA actually introduced me to this website. I was a little skeptical because I'm like, I got Twitch. Twitch will do the same thing. Twitch is good if you want to do audio and stuff, but yes, there is a delay, and I was looking more and more into it. And it's just cool to be able to just flip between screens and whatnot, and it just makes it a little less laggy. So crankwheel.com, set up a free account. It streams in pretty decent real time. I mean, I'll just, click away not even a full second, and I see clicking between the tabs. I'm going to quit YouTube. Yeah, crankwheel.com, and then let's see if I can bring the controller over. Yeah, so here's the controller that comes up, and it's all web-based, so it doesn't really utilize too much of your resources. And then you share the screen, and then it'll give you a link and everything so that you can just copy and paste the link into Sansar and stream right into Sansar. So,
wow, that's fantastic. Thank you so much.
Hope that makes it a little bit easier for you and less resources running OBS and Twitch. Now it doesn't do audio, so if you have like an audio presentation, know the YouTube URL, or if it's like a slideshow presentation or something, like for example I did the Skywarn event, then yeah, I still have to use Twitch for that, because those videos aren't on YouTube, they're locally on my computer through PowerPoint.
Thank you.
DNA, any other websites? You seem to have a few up your sleeve that would be useful for Sansar events. Zoom.com? Zoom.us? Yep, Zoom.us. Yep. And there's software too that goes along with it too if you choose, right? It's web-based or software-based, right? Yeah. Yeah, I believe you can either use the website or like Discord, you can get the app as well. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I think I seen that last time I was on, that they had a program you can download. So, yeah, anybody else got anything else? Okay.
What about tipping performers and such?
Oh, yes, thank you so much. Another cool idea. Tipping people. Okay. So, a cool way that I was able to get around us not having the tipping ability yet here in Sansar, coming soon to a Sansar near you. So right now, easiest way to do a tipping is create an item and put it in the store. It doesn't have to be anything.
you could, yeah, Venus is coming soon, trademark. Yeah, you can even just grab something simple from like Sketchfab or something, grab a rock. And then you can list a few of them, a few different items. So example, I have 4 rocks on the store right now. Let me see if I can find the, oh no, they're not listed on the store because they're only in my world. So I gotta fix around that really quick because we're getting short on time. Show you guys really quick. So I made a little tipping system, and you can do this for performers, you can do this as world creators, you can do this as the event hosts. There's many reasons why you would want a good way for somebody to give you a tip. Now you can just use your normal store items, of course, if you're good at creating stuff. I'm not so good at creating my own things just yet. I can do it, but I have a hard time sometimes. I'm new at Blender. So I made these rocks on Blender. Galileo was online. And this is what I did. So I made it so that you can click on any of these rocks here and give me a tip. So you just click on one, and then you can purchase that set of rocks in the store, and therefore the money goes into my account, and then I can cash it out or utilize it here in Sansar again. So you can do this for entertainment, world creation, event hosting, any of that kind of stuff. That's what I do. But there is a tipping system coming soon to Sansar. But here's the workaround for now. Hope that helps people.
Yeah, and like also to mention, if you click on someone, you can give them money, but I think they can't cash that money out. Is correct,
Yep.
and so that's why the tipping system is kind of required.
Yep, that's correct. So, yes. There's a sign on the wall. Yes, Patreon. So, patreon.com. There you go. So another way you can do it is set up a Patreon account, and people can subscribe to you and just become a subscriber, help support the cause of everything that you're doing. It'll help you be able to have a purpose of why you do what you do, and it will also help the person that's hosting the event be able to purchase things and keep doing what they do. So it's a really good way to do a real world tipping system outside of the Sansar platform that is really cool.
You should share that link.
Yes, I should. So, and what I do here, what we're all doing in our classrooms is our Patreon boards are clickable. So when you click on them, they'll give you also the link in nearby chat. So people will be able to click on them. So that's another thing you can do when you're hosting an event. Have a Patreon board, have a tipping board, and allow people to be able to support all of the things that you do. And then you can do other things for the people that subscribe to you and whatnot. So yeah, anybody else? Anything? So I believe that would be about it. Yes, it is. So right now, I'm going to take one quick pause for anybody with questions, comments about any of this subject. Okay, so I guess we can say class dismissed, and I highly encourage everybody to take a field trip